Good evening, I'm Camelia, and this is KiniNews. Inspector General of Police Razarudin Husain reportedly has given an update on the investigation on GISBH. He was reported as saying that followers told police that they were threatened if they went against the group's practices or tried to leave.
Inspector General of Police Razarudin Husain said members of GISBH were expected to show utmost loyalty to the group's leadership. According to Husain Malaysia, he said they were threatened if they wanted to quit the group. He reportedly said that GISBH followers were exposed to the Aurad Muhammadiah doctrine, which promotes excessive devotion to leaders and distorts the true teachings of Islam. Razarudin told Husain that following the crackdown against GISBH, its followers have told the police how they were threatened if they went against the group's practices and wanted to depart from it. He added that those who are loyal would be elevated to the leadership positions and gifted with certain women as wives. He told the Malay Daily that police investigations found that several individuals, including top GISBH leaders, had more than 2 wives. Razarudin said investigators are looking into the backgrounds of about 10,000 GISBH members nationwide. He added that the information garnered so far is only based on documents seized during raids at GISBH-linked premises. He said police will investigate who these people are, how they registered to become GISBH members, and whether the registrations were legal, among others.
Meanwhile, Zaid Ibrahim has told Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to look beyond GISBH in the report to rulers.
Former Law Minister Zaid Ibrahim has urged Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to look beyond global Ikhwan services and business holdings in the report being compiled on their activities by authorities for the Malay rulers. In a post on X, Zaid said they should also question whether religious administrators are capable of dealing with the problem of heresy in Malaysia. He said the report will not be complete and valuable if it does not contain the mistakes or failings of the people in charge of taking care of the purity of Islam if we are faced with the same problem every few years. He added that sometimes he thinks the aggressive but haphazard manner in which they are going after the group suggests an attempt to hide their own mistakes and failures to deal with the problems of heretics in the country. Zaid said the Prime Minister must not just focus on Ikhwan, but focus on why the true faith has been disturbed, tainted, and tarnished every so often. In making his call, Zaid said the people are concerned with the government's process in dealing with banned religious deviants found resurface under different names. He questioned if the methods employed were fair and legally permissible and asked if they were effective.
Ahmad Fadhli Shaari has challenged Anwar to sue Bloomberg. This was over a claim that he had instructed for the MACC to halt a probe on his former political secretary.
PAS Information Chief Ahmad Fadhli Shaari has challenged Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to sue Bloomberg. This is over its article claiming that Anwar had ordered the MACC not to investigate his former political secretary.
Hari ini juga, pejabat Perdana Menteri membuat penafian terhadap laporan ini. Bagus. Tahniah buat laporan. Tetapi saya nak cabar Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim supaya saman Bloomberg di atas kesalahan memfitnah beliau. Setuju ke tak, tuan-tuan? Kalau tak betul, saman je lah.
Yesterday, Bloomberg released a report citing sources who claimed that Anwar had ordered MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki not to investigate Farharhash Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak over the latter's purchase of shares in high-tech Padu. The technology services provider is linked to the development of a new immigration system costing 1 billion ringgit.
Before we move on, if you'd like access to news like this and more, consider supporting us and donate to Kinitv by scanning the QR code on the screen. Meanwhile, the MACC has joined the Prime Minister's office in denying the claims. It said all enforcement action taken by the Commission is done with no interference from any party.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has denied a media report that quoted sources who claimed the graftbuster had been instructed not to investigate an individual over the purchase of a company's share. In a statement today, the MACC said all enforcement action taken by the Commission is done without fear or favor and with no interference from any party. It said action is fair and without prejudice in all situations based on principles of the law. The MACC also claimed that the accusation was deliberately made to create a negative perception of the agency. It stressed that the MACC does not open investigation papers arbitrarily without evidence and facts. The agency added that it would not succumb to pressure from any party to divert attention from the cases that are currently under investigation through various accusations that are deliberately being fabricated. It did not mention any names in the statement, only saying that the report was from a local and international news portal. Earlier this week, the Prime Minister's office had denied a report that Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim had ordered the MACC not to investigate his former political secretary. This was in response to an article by Bloomberg that cited 3 sources who claimed that Anwar had ordered the agency's chief commissioner, Azam Baki, not to investigate Farhash Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak over the latter's purchase of shares in high-tech Padu.
An academic has questioned if Muhammad Sanusi Matnoor will apologize for his previous remarks, which had courted controversy. He asked this while stating that there was nothing to be glorified about Sanusi's act of repentance.
An academic has questioned if Kedah Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Matnoor will apologize for his remarks in connection with the demolition of a Hindu temple in his state and for insulting Tourism, Culture and Arts Minister Tiong King Singh. This came following Sanusi's apology to the Selangor ruler Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah. Tajuddin Muhammad Razdi told Malaysia Kini that Sanusi seeking forgiveness was a desperate attempt to save his political career after being charged with sedition. He added that there is nothing to be glorified about the firebrand politician's act of repentance. He said, if Sanusi's act is noble, then he is still waiting for him to apologize to the Indian-Malaysian community for his drunk on toddy statement. Tajuddin added that he is also still waiting for Sanusi to apologize to Tiong and the Chinese community for calling him a pot-bellied bald deity. He described the PA's leader as a bully and said that bullies will always crumble to a greater force like the Sultan, but they tower over others called citizens. On Wednesday, Sanusi sent a letter of apology to Sultan Sharafuddin over his remarks, which landed him in court during a speech made while campaigning in the state election in Selangor in 2023. Yesterday, the ruler said he forgave the Menteri Besar and advised him not to be too emotional, as well as to refrain from making inappropriate remarks.
Pahang PAS has urged government leaders to emulate Sanusi's humility. They said this while praising Sanusi for willing to humble himself and beg for forgiveness from the Sultan.
Pahang PAS said federal government leaders should emulate Kedah Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Matnoor, who pleaded for forgiveness from Selangor ruler Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah. Pahang PAS Deputy Commissioner and Dansura Rabu said, Sanusi should be praised for being willing to humble himself and beg for forgiveness from the Sultan. According to Haraka Daily, Dansura said a leader must be open to criticism and be wise in dealing with issues prudently. He was quoted as saying that this kind of thing should be used as an example to any individual who holds a high position in a government, whether at the federal or state level. He said by following Sanusi's steps, other leaders can also be role models and manage the country more carefully. Commenting further, he said, a good leader will take criticisms as an opportunity for self-improvement. He claimed that qualities shown by Sanusi are lacking from the leaders of the federal government who instead considered criticisms to be personal attacks. On September 25th, Sanusi publicly apologized to Sultan Sharafuddin. This came 14 months after his speech at an election campaign which contained disrespectful remarks. The apology was also a day before the case management of his related sedition charge.
That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.